Law of cosines today. Look at these formulas right here and see if you can tell where the law of cosines is derived from. The Pythagorean theorem, yeah. So we use the idea of the Pythagorean theorem to find the law of cosine formulas. We're not going to prove them today, but just kind of know that that's where they're coming from. So if you're looking for side A, you would use this formula, which uses side B, side C, side B and C again, and then the cosine of A. If you're looking to find side B, you would use this formula. If you're looking for side C, you would use this formula. These formulas also work backwards. Say I'm looking for the angle A. If I'm looking for angle A, I would still use this top formula. Does that kind of make sense that we can find side A or angle A using that top formula pretty easily, okay? So what we're going to do today is we're going to use the information that we've been given in order to solve for the triangle, just like we've been doing with the law of sines, but by using the law of cosines. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. The minute that I get enough information to use the law of sines, we're going to go right back to the law of sines, okay? Usually you only have to use the law of cosines once, and then you'll have enough information to use the law of sines. And honestly, you guys, if we have enough information to use the law of sines, we're jumping right to that, okay? Because it's easier to do the law of sines than the law of cosines. But let's look at this first example right here. It says finding a side. Now we're looking right here for side B. They gave us angle A. I'm just kidding. That says B right there. They gave us angle B. They gave us side A and side C. Now that's not enough information to set up a law of sines, is it? But it is enough information to set up the law of cosines. So looking at what angle they gave me angle B, and I'm looking for side B. So if you go back up here, side B and angle B, we're using this middle formula right here. You following me on how I could tell which one to use? All right, so let's write down that middle formula over here so we know that we're using it. So it's B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC cosine of B. And we're plugging into that formula. It looks really yucky, but it's not that bad when we start plugging in, okay? We don't know B squared, so we're going to leave it B squared. Do we know what A is? It's 12, so it will be 12 squared there. I'm just going to write it out the first time, then we'll go back and we'll do all of the math. Plus C squared, which is 16, minus 2 times A. A again is 12. C is 16. Times the cosine of B, and B is 38 degrees. So that's our formula with all of our information plugged into it. So from here, it really becomes calculator work. So 12 squared, 144. 16 squared, 256. Are you guys okay if right now I plug all this into my calculator and just find what that number is going to be? Do you see how this is all multiplied together? So isn't that really just one number we're looking for right there? So I'm going to do on my calculator 2 times 12 times 16 times the cosine of 38, and then just hit enter. And then let's round that to 2 decimal places. What did you guys get when you did that? Yeah, 302.59, that would have to round up, right? So it's really 302.6 if we're rounding that correctly. Okay, do you see how this is arithmetic now? Positive number, negative number. So just add them on your calculator, right? So you can do 144 plus 256 minus 302.6. And when you do that, what do you get? B squared is equal to 97.4. What's the last step to get B by itself? Square root. So we get B equals, yeah, I got 9.87. Yeah, that's what you said, right? For the measure of side B. Okay. Once I had side B, if it asked me to solve the triangle, I could totally go to the law of sines now, right? Because I have angle B and side B, and I could solve the rest of this triangle with the law of sines. But it didn't ask me to do that. It just asked me to find side B. All right. Next problem. I have side A, side B, and angle C. Okay. So,
you don't have angle C, you have side C.
oh, I do have side C. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said angle. I'm being funny today. Yeah, how did you know that was a side again?
The lowercase.
Yes, lowercase. I think I've taught that to you pretty thoroughly, and then I just said it wrong here, but that's okay. So which formula are we going to use in order to find angle A? Well, which one has angle A in it? Yeah, so we're going to have to use the first one, right? So it's going to be A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of A. We're going to plug our information into that formula, and then we're going to solve for the angle A. Anytime that we're solving for the angle, it's going to involve that inverse cosine function, right? Because we're going to have to get that cosine off the angle eventually. But let's just start plugging stuff in and see what happens. This time I know my A value. It's 8. So I have 8 squared equals 18 squared plus 13 squared minus 2 times 18 times 13 times the cosine of A. Everybody's following me with how I plugged that in? All right, let's start doing some arithmetic. What's 8 squared? Yep. What's 18 squared? 324. 13 squared? Good. And then this number is multiplied together, so let's get that number. $468 is what I got. Is that what you guys got? Anybody? Check my work, yeah? Okay. Can I add these two together right here? Yeah, so let's do that. So I'll have 64 equals those two added together. $493. Now it's tempting. People all the time make this mistake right here and subtract those, but can I? Nope, because this is like 468x. It's got crap attached to it. That means I can't combine it with stuff that doesn't have the same crap, right? So I got to move this 493 to the other side to start isolating this. So how do I get the 493 over here with the 64? I subtract it. So subtract over the 493. I got minus 429. All right, who's got my next step for me? Divide by negative 468, right? Nice job. And I got 0.9166. How do I solve that? My last step? Inverse cosine, yep. So I'm just going to do the inverse cosine, and I'm using that whole number in my calculator just by using that second answer key. When I do that, what'd you get for angle A? I got 23.56 degrees. That was a lot of math, but was it hard math? No, I mean, that's a lot of math. Look at that, how much we did to find the angle. Well, do you see why I love the law of sines now? The law of sines is awesome, right? Once you have this third side right here, or the third side with that first angle, we could now use the law of sines, right? Because we have angle A and side A. So to solve the rest of the triangle, if I needed to, we could go to the law of sines now. Okay. All right, next example again, finding the law of cosines, using the law of cosines to solve the triangle. Now it says solve the triangle, which means it wants every part of the triangle this time. So let's notice what we have. We have angle A. This would be side A. This is side C. And this is side B, because my sides are opposite my angle, right? Labeled the same. So I have angle A and I have B and C. So which of the three, let's come back up here and look. Which of the three am I going to use? I'm going to use the top one, right? Because I have angle A inside B and C. So I'm going to rewrite that down here so that we can use it. So I'm going to have A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine of A. And I am going to sub my information into that formula. I don't have A squared. That's what I'm looking for. But I do know what B squared are. Are you guys okay if we start just squaring those when we put them in? Is that all right? So we don't have to rewrite it an extra time. So what's B squared this time? 144. What's C squared? 256. And then we're going to do minus 2 times BC. Is that okay if we times B and C and 2 at the same time right now too? Are you guys okay with that? So 2 times 12 times 16. What'd you guys get? Yep, 384. Cosine of 38. Okay. So this is like arithmetic from here. We can add the 144 and the 256 together and get 400. We're going to do this on our calculator together. You guys let me know what you get. I got 302.6 equals, or the same thing, that's what it equals. I'm going to subtract those two. Does this seem unfamiliar yet to you guys? Did we not do that on example 1 to find the side already? Yeah, the triangles just flipped around, right? Yeah, I don't know, you guys look up at example 1 and tell me if we're doing the exact same work we did before.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be the same answer if it's the same work, right? So what's, and then square root both sides, and so what's side A going to be? All right, so side A is 9.87. And now that I have angle A and side A, I can set up a law of sines to find that missing angle, right? So let's set up a law of sines. I'm going to use the sine of 38 over 9.87 because this is my A over my A, right? Now let's solve for angle B this time. Is that okay? So we'll do the sine of B over what number? 12. We're going to cross multiply here and solve. So the sine of 38 times 12 7.4 if I round that. Do you guys agree with that number? And this direction I get 9.87 sine of B because I can't actually combine those together anyway, right? So how am I going to get that sine by itself so I can find the angle? Yep, divide by 9.87. And I get 0.75 if I round that, right? And then what do I do to find angle B? The inverse of the sine. When you do that, what do you get angle B equal to?
48.6.
Yep, 48.6. So here's the deal. I know this one's 48.6 now. Do I have to use another formula to find the next angle, or can I totally just make sure they add up to 180? Yeah, make sure that they add up to 180. So what's the last angle going to be? 93.4. Okay, questions on that? Okay. Next one, triangle ABC has side lengths of A equals 10, B equals 16, and C equals 8. Find each angle in the triangle. It says note, always find the angle opposite the longest side first. If you don't, you can run into some problems, and we'll talk about those problems later. But you're going to find which side first then on this? Or I should say angle first, I'm sorry. Which angle first? Angle B, because side B is the longest. So I'm going to go up there and I'm going to grab that formula that has angle B in it. And I would substitute my information into that formula. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like you got this. Do you need me to sub the stuff back in here and show you again? Or could you do it on your own? You could do it on your own? So again, you would be having to do at the end the inverse cosine, right? Because we're looking for an angle this time. So you'd sub your stuff in, simplify it, and move on from there. Okay. And I'm going to stop right there today.